So today I'm going to try to do my first reading vlog. I need to do some reading today. I have nobody home, so I can actually get that done. It's really hard for me to read when my family's home. And if they are home, I like to read outside, but it's too cold to read outside. So yeah. So anyways, nobody's home today, so I got the whole day while the kids are at school to read. So I'll read a little bit, take a little bit of break, read some more, take a break, and try to do that today. I just dropped my kids off at school. So it's 8 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. So yeah, I have till 3:30 to really read. So we're going to try to do that this morning or today. So I have 3 books here that I want to read. And I am trying to debate which one to go with. So this one is called 20 Things Adoptive Kids Wish Their Adoptive Parents Knew by Sherry Eldridge. And so I got this book at Goodwill, I believe. And yeah, I just had it for a long time. I have 2 adoptive kids. One's 14 and one is 5. And so especially with my 14-year-old, we adopted her when she was about 9 or 10. So she, obviously remembers a lot from her past, but she does not like to talk about it. So hopefully, reading this book will help us to figure out the things that we need to talk to her about and help us on that journey of helping her to heal from her past. So this book, I am about halfway through right there. So yeah, maybe this book, I don't know. This book is it's a lot. Like after one chapter, I want to cry because it's so much, and it talks about what your kid's feeling, and when I read about what my kid is potentially feeling, that is a lot of emotion for me. One day I read it and I was just sad for the rest of the day. And so I was very emotional. And I was trying to let me watch some funny shows or whatever, So I was watch, I turned on The Big Bang Theory or whatever, just to not think about how sad, her thinking or her thought process is. So it's a very moving book, but it's a very difficult book to just read straight through. I'd have to read a chapter and put it down for a day or so. So yeah, hopefully I can get through a little bit of this book today. Maybe probably 2 chapters at most for this book. Then I have The Hunger Games, which everyone knows this one, Susan Collins. Everyone knows this one. It's the first one. I've never read it. I love the movies and I love dystopians, and so I figured I should at least read one of the Hunger Games, because I love the whole other world idea. So I believe I read the first chapter. I got this at the library. I read the first chapter and it's good. It had a good cliffhanger after the first chapter. I'm obviously I know what's happening in the book, but it's still good. I still want to read it and I'm excited to read it. So Hunger Games is one option. And then my Christian fiction that I found at the library, this is called The Time of Jacob's Trouble by Donna Van Leer. So I also just read a chapter of this book, and I don't know about this. So I read a chapter of it, and it's kind of if I feel like there's a lot of names in it, but maybe I wasn't paying very much attention to it and figuring out who's who and all that kind of stuff. But it's basically about the end times and like the rapture and stuff like that. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of slack for this. I don't believe in the rapture. I definitely believe in the end times. I definitely believe in um Jesus returning and us being caught up with him in heaven and going to heaven with him. I don't believe the rapture part where people like Christians are gonna disappear and then um the rest, everyone else, non-Christians, are gonna just be left on the earth in complete chaos. I don't believe that. Now, if that happens, I mean, it's not gonna change whether I'm saved or not, like whether I believe in the rapture. Uh, but I think the idea of the rapture is very interesting, and I like to read about it. And it's like very dystopian, very along the lines of Hunger Games and those kind of dystopian type books, the chaos and other world stuff happening. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to read this book just for that idea. But like I said, I just am not a um, rapture believer. If the rapture happens, great, wonderful, but I just don't see that in the scriptures. So, anyway, saying that, I'm excited to read this book to see, just to read the dystopian type aspect of the end of the world happening. So, yeah, I'm going to decide which book to read and then I'm going to get to it. So, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye. Okay, so I just got done reading some chapters from 20 Things Adoptive Kids Want Their Adoptive Parents to Know. And I'm in the middle of this book. I feel like it took to the middle of this book to start like getting some pointers, some useful pointers to use. The first part of the book was like basically talking about like your kid needs to feel the pain of their adoption and you need to be okay with that. And just basically talking to the parent, having the parent deal with their feelings about the kid's adoption. So half of the book was like the parents' feelings, and now the rest of the book, finally, I get to parts about like how I can actually help my daughter because I don't feel like I have, like, I feel bad that my kid has to know these things that could hurt her, but I know that these things need to be known to her so that she can be able to process them and like live a good life. And I feel like if she's not able to process them, then that can cause a lot of issues later in life, like addiction and things like that. So the chapter I'm on right now is chapter 10, and the chapter is called I Need to Know the Truth About My Conception, Birth, and Family History, no matter how painful the details may be. Okay, so and I think that that is important for kids to know where they come from, if they want to know where they come from, like their whole, how they were born, their family history. A lot of kids don't want to know that, or they know like a little bit about it, and that's all they want to know. Like they don't want to go into detail. They don't want any more information. So yeah, I just struggle with this book because it's like your kid must or wants this information. It's like, no, not all adopted kids do want this information. Some of them it's just too painful for them to even think about. So yeah, that's going to be I told my daughter that we're going to work on it this summer of just talking about, because she's very closed off about talking about the past. And so now that she's getting into high school, we're like, you need to start like opening up a little bit and not acting like that's like never happened, you know? So I said we could either talk, like go for a walk and talk about it, or we can write in a notebook. And so she chose a notebook because she has a really hard time just having emotions. She likes to, she's real tight about her emotions. So I said, okay, well, I'll ask you a question in the notebook, and then you answer it, in a paragraph or whatever. So that way we can start to get the ball rolling. She can feel a little bit more comfortable about talking about these kind of subjects that are really, really hard for her to talk about. I'm going to take a little break, probably go for a walk. And I'm going to start reading again here in a little bit. And I'll see you then. Bye. Hello. I was reading a book, and I'm trying to remember what book. I was reading the 20 Things Adoptive Kids Wish Their Adoptive Parents Knew. Read 2 chapters of that, so I think I'm going to be done with this book for the day. Still pretty much right in the middle of it. So, but I will say that this is not Christ-centered, and that makes all the difference. Yeah, it definitely makes all the difference with adoptive kids. Because with Christ, anything is possible. If you don't have Christ and you have adoptive kids, then I don't know. I don't know what you can lean on psychology. So yeah, this is good. It's helpful, but it's not Christ-centered. So I was feeling like I really needed, because I was like, man, that's all the hope I have to help my kids get through life and be productive citizens in the world, is to talk to them about their past. Like, that's all the hope I have. And then, like, so I was feeling like that. Like, it's kind of like, there's not much hope in that, right? So then I was like, well, I need to read some Jesus. Like, I need to get my Bible out. I need to read something about Jesus' hope and salvation and all that kind of stuff, because he is where my hope lies. And oh my goodness. So I was gonna read, I had the Hunger Games. These books. I had the Hunger Games, so like that's not gonna help me out. Like with hope, it's just gonna really just distract me from that feeling of needing hope. And then this book, The Time of Jacob's Problem. Yeah, this wasn't really gonna help with that. So anyways, I was like, you know what, I need to get because I have 3 books here, I need to get a Christian nonfiction book in the mix, because I don't have one going on right now. Okay, I have a nonfiction book, I have a Christian fiction book, and then I just have a fiction book right here. So I was like, I need to add a Christian nonfiction book to help me with these just emotions or whatever I'm having. And so I picked up this one, Crazy Love by Francis Chan. And I've had this book for a long time. I read like a few chapters in this book, like halfway through. It's not a very big book. But I didn't finish it. So I wanted to start over again, because it's been a really long time, like probably almost 15 years. So I wanted to start over again from the beginning, and just read a book about God and how great he is. And oh my goodness, this book was so, like, I'm gonna start crying, like, talking about it right now. It was so what I needed. It is so beautiful. Um, okay, so I just got through chapter 1, and he just reminds us, like, we know how holy God is, we know how great he is, we know how amazing, but sometimes we forget. We forget, like, God is so amazing, and his greatness, and, like, and, you know, like, how small we are to God's greatness is, like, overwhelming sometimes. But even though we're so small, we are so loved by him. So I'm trying not to cry, I'm trying to calm down. um oh, okay, so in this book he talks about, okay, so one thing I really like about this book is that he has a website for this book, Crazy Love. And he says, put this book down, go to this website, and watch this video. And the first one was like 3 minutes, I think, and the second one was like 15 minutes. But the first video was like about the vastness of the universe and how we the greatness of it. It's so great. There's no way, like, we can comprehend how great the universe is. Okay, her creator created this great universe, and, like, we can't even comprehend the universe. How in the world can we comprehend God? So that video is beautiful because I love that reminder that God is so great. Like, just look at the universe. It's beautiful to me, that idea. Okay. And then he has you watch another video, and it's of him surfing, but he just talks about, like, how God shows, like, just the gospel, the good news. Like, look at around us, look what we have, look how amazing where we're at, like the sunset, like, just look at how beautiful things are on this earth that God's given us. We are so small, so insignificant, but yet he sent his son to die for us. And, like, you know, 2 days from now is Easter, and, like, it's just a beautiful picture to be reminded of that, you know, as often as we can be. Okay, so then he goes into, you know, God's creation and stuff like that. Then after that, he goes into God's throne room. And he talks about Revelations and how John was describing, like, the throne room and the crystal sea, glass sea, and the robe that covered the entire room, and like, the creatures that were there, and, like, just think of the creatures that are in God's throne room. Like, it talks about you know, the head of a lion, the head of an eagle. I'm getting this messed up, but the head of a, there's like 4 heads, and then there's eyes all around it and stuff like that. Like, just imagine that sight. But that's not even God. That's something that worships God, and how holy God is. So yeah, it just, oh my gosh, that just hit home. It just really made me think, you know, with the adoption stuff and things that we deal with that. And not that it's like we're going through anything big right now. It's just the everyday things that you go through, and you're just like, oh, will it ever get better? Or, you know, will what we're doing help our girls out in the real world. Like there's all these things that you deal with, but it's like then you read a book like this and you're reminded of God, and like we feel like we are like we adopted our girls not because we wanted more children. Like we adopted our girls because we feel like we are, serving the orphans like the Bible says to. And so we're doing God's will. And sometimes that's scary. Sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's difficult going through all the things that you go through and not knowing what's the outcome going to be. So yeah, this is very overwhelming. Just one chapter. So between this and this, I was gonna go for a walk, but I actually did a workout video here at the house because it was kind of cold outside. So I did a workout video here, and then I started reading this while I was cooling down from my workout. Went and took a shower, ate some lunch, and so now I'm going to start reading another book. And I can't read any more adoption book. The Francis Chan book is so good. It's so good. But it is a lot. It's like overwhelming. And like while I was getting ready, like I was worshiping God and singing and like talking and just like, thank you God for like loving me, even though thank you God for loving me, even though, I'm nothing in compared to you. And so that's very emotional. So I'm trying to calm down from that. Ooh. So those books bring up a lot of emotions for me. So I'm gonna try to read something a little bit lighter. And I think I'm gonna go with The Hunger Games. Yeah, just a little bit lighter, but yeah. So I'll see you in a little bit after I read chapter 2 of The Hunger Games. And it is almost noon. So I have like 3 more hours to read before my kids come home and totally won't let me read no more because they're totally distracting. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on this. See you soon. Bye. Okay, so one thing I've noticed from reading this book is I feel like in the movie they didn't do a very good job at explaining like how poor Katniss was. And so from reading this book, I can see that now the movie makes a lot more sense with why she was so hard and why she had to be so hard. Also the part about her mom basically going to a deep depression after their dad had died and how that had affected them. Like the movie didn't explain that at all. And so I just really like that I'm getting the backstory on that because I feel like the movie just glazed over like when she was like yelling at her mom when she got picked for the reaping and she was saying you can't check out again. Like well, one, we didn't even know that she did check out, and two, like we didn't know what had really happened and like why she was so why Katniss was like so angry, I guess. But now reading the book, like I understand like her anger towards her mom, towards the situation, and why she had become so hard when her sister is not that way. So it makes a lot of sense now. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading. Okay, so I think I'm on chapter 4 in Hunger Games. Yeah. And I am really liking it. I'm liking it a lot more than the movie, and I really like the movie. So, I love how you can see a little bit more of PETA and his kindness towards Katniss, and then I like how they showed like the backstories of other Hunger Games in past years, and so they were talking about like one year there was a game in a desert and everyone like either starved or got stung by like snake bites and died, and then like another year they were in like a frozen wasteland, and just night after night everyone just basically froze to death. um so I love seeing those other Hunger Games that had happened, and yeah, I'm really liking it. So can't wait to read some more of it. I'm gonna take a break from reading. It's like 1. So I've been reading for quite a bit, and gonna go to the store, do some stuff that I need to do, and then I'll come home and hopefully read another hour before my kids get home from school. So I'll see you guys then. Bye. Okay, so I just got back from the store, and while I was driving to the store, there's this other book that I've been listening to online, or not online, but on audio. It is a strange book because like you can only get it on audio or you can only get it on ebook. I've tried searching for it to like buy it because I really like it. I can't find it. So it is called Within the Crystal Mountain by J.L. Put no put what is it? Putney. Okay. So it's a Crystal Mountain, and it's a Christian sci-fi book slash fantasy. And it's actually an allegory too, which I really really like allegories, which means it's like loosely based on the gospel or the Bible or something like that, telling a story about Jesus through a different story. So something familiar like is The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. So like that movie, so or book. I'm sorry. So that book is an allegory. So I really enjoy allegories. This one is really good. I like it. It's about this village of small people that are like 3 feet tall, so like midget people, and they are entrapped in this mountain dome, and they can't get out, and there's some that are out of the dome, and they're trying to get their family saved, because if they don't help the people inside the glass mountain, they're going to die in a few days or weeks, because they can't get the water or food. So it's real interesting. Then they have a god who's supposed to be God, but they call him by a different name. I can't remember what it is. He's the creator of all, the creator of the universe, that kind of thing. So it's really different than any book I ever read. But like I said, I don't understand why they don't have it in a book. It came out last year. Maybe they're just testing it to see if they want to put it in print. I don't know how these things work, but I do know that I really enjoyed reading and listening to this book. Me and my husband listen to it every night. So yeah, we are, I don't know, about halfway done. But great book. Listen to it on the way to the store today. And then when I got back from the store, I had to read some more books, which I hadn't touched this book yet today. So I sat down and read this. I sat down and read this, and I read like 3 chapters maybe in it. And it is good. It is really getting good. People are panicking and freaking out. They think it might be aliens who took all the people around the world. They think it could be like a virus that killed all the people, made them vanish or whatever. But some people are saying like, well, the Christians said that Jesus was coming to get them, and people like get mad at them and be like, we don't need any of that religion no more, or something like that. So it's getting really good. I'm liking it. Yeah, I'm gonna read some more of this. So really interesting. Love the dystopia, um, Armageddon type books. I think they're a lot of fun to read. So yeah, that's all the books I've read today. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the one on my phone will do like this, a 5. So I've read 5 books today. I'm really proud of myself. Um, that's a lot of books to read one day for me, anyway. So pushed myself, and I did pretty good. So, anyways, this is the end of my vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will try to see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Have a good day.